Hello and welcome back to the Not the Old Firm YouTube channel. My name is Ben Banks, back to look on a weekend of Premiership football. I had plenty of action, as is usually the case in our game here in Scotland. Do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Plenty of exclusive content coming your way this week. Much of it League Cup themed, as St Johnstone, St Mirren, Hibs, Livingston are the four teams involved in the Hampden showpieces this season. So we've got plenty of exclusive interviews ahead of those games. So do check them out. As well as next week, got a very special interview with former Mull manager Stephen Robinson. Obviously just recently left his post at Fir Park, and he sits down for us for a lengthy chat on his time at Fir Park, what went right, what went wrong. So hope you do tune in for that one. In terms of the football that's just been and gone, plenty of action-ish. Couple of nil-nils in there, but still talking points aplenty. On the Saturday, there was 5 fixtures. Celtic nil, Livingston nil, and Accies, Dundee United at the same scoreline kicked us off. Hibs 2, Kilmarnock nil as the Highbies got back to winning ways. Ross County thumping Aberdeen 4-1, and definitely result of the weekend, at least in my opinion. Some may argue Livingston drawing with Celtic was result of the weekend, but for me, not as much of a shock as people may think. St Johnstone won, St Mirren nil, as St Johnstone got their first win since November. And then on the Sunday, Mull under Graham Alexander going in the right direction, still 1-1 with the Rangers, and went for an offside goal. Could have been 3 points in a first defeat of the season for Rangers against Mull, who are still joint bottom, but plenty of positive signs under Alexander early on. Plenty of interviews and stuff to come, so we'll just get straight into it. Celtic v Livingston, Davy Martindale's men's winning run comes to an end, but their unbeaten run still continues. 0-0 with Celtic at Parkhead in a game where, against a weakened Celtic side, they had multiple chances. Efe Ambrose had 2 headers. Scott Robinson, Josh Mullen having chances as well, but they just weren't able to find the back in the net. Another great performance from them. They've got Celtic again on Wednesday in an 8:15 kickoff. Davy Martindale saying after the game that he was a bit frustrated with the 0-0 draw. Probably just shows how far Livingston have come. I know fans don't really like hearing the same rhetoric of coming from League One to where they are now, but it rings true again. They were in League One just a few seasons ago, and now they're disappointed with a draw away to Celtic, who have won 9 league titles in a row, albeit a club in a bit of disarray at the moment, a weakened side. On Saturday, and they'll be playing a Celtic side again off the back of what can only be described as a pretty rollercoaster day, at least as I record this on Monday the 18th, for Celtic with Neil Lennon's pre-match press conference. So Livingston maybe fancy their chances. The spotlight again all heavily on Celtic as they return from their stint of COVID-19 isolation, but they're given their form ahead of the League Cup this weekend against St Mirren on Sunday. They might just fancy their chances of nicking another positive result. Accies v Dundee United 0-0 in this one. Both managers content with a point. Not a lot of goalmouth action. Ryan Fulton making one pretty outstanding save, and we heard from managers Brian Rice and Micky Mellon at the end of this one.
That's a point gained. It's another clean sheet. You know, I've just heard you talking to the goalkeeper about his save. Fantastic save. You know, that's why I put him back in, because he is my number one. And Kel's done fantastic when he came in, the lad. But he knows that, you know, Ryan's my number one. But Ryan knows he's got competition now. So no, I'm taking that as a point gained. I thought Jamie Hamilton was absolutely outstanding for an 18-year-old in the Premier League. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. You know, let's say it's another clean sheet, so we're delighted with that.
Now going forward,
well, I think we saw last week when I lost him in Eastie. You know, we can only have so many in our squad. You know, we're Hamilton. We know what the resources are like. We know what the finances are like. And when the experienced boys go out, then it's got to be the young ones that come in. You know, that's how it works. And the kids done all right last week, but you see the difference today with the experience. Brian and Aaron coming in there and helping. How do you feel?
I think you of course you want to win every game that you take part in, and I have to look at the over the 90 odd minutes performance, and I really dislike when managers stand here and go on about that they should have, could have, and never. But we certainly had opportunities that we could have got a positive result. But in terms of build-up play, and I think the team looking most likely to get a result, I think it was clear to me that it was us. We played some fantastic football at times. Just maybe need to get in the end of some of the moves and be a wee bit more clinical. We would have to be honest and say, if you're going to be more successful, then you need to be taking 3 points in some of the games, of course. But we won't allow it to for people to put us under pressure and say that it's a problem for us when we're getting clean sheets and results in a league that we've just arrived in. We're working forward. It shows you how far we've came, that when we go into the dressing room at the end, we're disappointed we don't take 3 points at a place like Hamilton. But no, we're working forward. Of course we want to win every game we play in, but in the end we have to take what we've got and move on to next week and keep moving the club forward.
Hibs 2, Kilmarnock 0 at Easter Road, and much needed victory for Hibs. No wins in 4 prior to this. The draw at Celtic was progress. This finally put the finishing touches on it. Alan Power own goal in the second half kicked things off them before Alex Gogic, of all people. I think that's only a third career goal, or at least it's only been a few in his career. Thunderbolt into the top corner. I don't think anybody was expecting it, least of all Jack Ross, who spoke to us at Fulton.
Yeah, it has been for us. I think we knew coming off the back of that disappointing week we had in the 2 games here, the importance of the week that lay ahead, and said that the players on the 4 points from 6 is a good return from us, and obviously the other results are went and where we find ourselves in this break from league action is positive for us. Settling in well. Been delighted with them. Matt was obviously an essential at that time because of where we were goalkeeping wise, and his performances have been excellent. And then Jackson and Chris, it was late by the time we brought them in this week, but good that we were able to get them game time, and I felt as if it was the first time in a while that we had that real depth and options from the bench. We'd been a little bit stretched recently, so we feel as if we're in a good place. It's just now it's important for us to build on the week we've had. No, I'd like to say I see him do it in training regularly, but I don't. He quite often gets chased out finishing drills when he tries to get involved in them. So no, and it's a heck of a finish as well. It's a really good finish. So I thought he was excellent today in the game. I think the game, I don't want to say suited him, but it wasn't a pretty game. The pitch is not great at the moment, and it made it difficult. So I thought his contribution was excellent, and obviously rounded off. And pleased for him because I think he's deserved that this season for his performances.
Up in Dingwall, result of the weekend for me: Ross County 4, Aberdeen 1. Ollie Shaw double, Charlie Lacken and Jermaine Hilton putting the Dons to the sword. Terrible day for Aberdeen, who haven't really lost that many games at all this season to teams outside the Old Firm. This only their second, including a defeat to Mull at Pittodrie earlier this season, who they've got now this weekend coming. But a really disappointing performance again from Aberdeen. That's sort of been the bugbear for a lot of fans this season. They've dropped points to the likes of Hamilton, Mull away, all teams sort of down that neck of the woods in the Premiership, and fans getting frustrated, culminating in sort of, I think it was like bed sheets or something outside the player and director's entrance at Pittodrie, with Derek out and McInnes out, all those sort of things. So tension's a bit high just now at Aberdeen. Derek McInnes obviously done a fantastic job there. I don't know who's putting bed sheets out in front of Pittodrie, but obviously a sign that some fans at least aren't happy with how things are going. In terms of Ross County, amazing result for them. 4-1 against Aberdeen, beat Hibs at Easter Road a few weeks ago. All of a sudden, John Hughes has got them playing good football. He said multiple times he's going to stick or twist in every game. Sometimes it's going to work, sometimes it's going to fall flat in his face. The 3-1 defeat against Livingston's probably testament to that. Probably could have got a draw out of that, but opted to go full on attack and get beat. Here, they went full on attack again, and it paid off for them this time. So well done to John Hughes. Delighted to see him doing well. For Aberdeen, though, there was also more injury concern at the end of that. Ross McCrory, particularly in a bad way. The problems are piling up for Derek McInnes. But we heard from John Hughes at the end of that game, who was happy with how his side started the game. Derek McInnes providing an injury update on 3 Aberdeen men.
No, it doesn't. I think that getting off to a fantastic start, it certainly helped us. Something that we've been looking for. Somebody just says to me about our home forum. I didn't realise that, but I have says in terms of we need to make this place a fortress and start picking up results. But the start was great, and I felt tactically, we got it spot on. They 3 up front, and Shaw, Hilton and Cookie. They plenty of play, pace in them. They were gamble, they sucked it in, they hit on the counter. They played over the top of them, and it worked for us. It worked a treat, and they've got good legs in them. So really am pleased for them.
the loss of Johnny Hayes was a real blow to us at that period in the game. And the last 5 minutes of the game, when we lose 2 goals, again, you remember that side of it. You know, I think the third goal, as I said, with Roscoe can't get off the ground with the issue he's got. And then the last goal, when we're kind of chasing the game, we just looked too much grass in behind, and it's a really untidy goal. So a horrible afternoon. We've lost 3 players to injury today as well. You know, and the 2 biggest concerns, Johnny and Ross McCrory, leaving the ground in crutches tonight, and Ross will go for an X-ray, and it doesn't look good on him. Got a real issue with his ankle going onto the bottom of his leg. It's doesn't look good, to be honest. He was struggling, he couldn't move the last 10 minutes, but with Hughes with subs, we couldn't have any more stoppages after the 2 injuries to Ash and Johnny. And I do think it's got a bearing in the third goal. He can't get off the ground for the challenge with Draper, so you know, we're disappointed with the result. We should be far better than that. It's a horrible afternoon for us, and we need to deal with that, but hopefully the injuries aren't too bad, but we do fear the worst with a couple of them.
St Johnstone 1, St Mirren 0 in the other games. Big win for St Johnstone, they're first. Since November, St Mirren don't really like travelling up to Perth, it must be said. They've not got a great record up there, and that continued again. A game of very few chances, not a great game for the spectacle. Maybe, I mean, if it finished 0-0 like another couple of the games did, then perhaps both teams couldn't have complained. But when Chris Kane got his chance, continued his recent form, putting the Perthshire Saints into the lead, and eventually that turned out to be the winner. He's hitting really good form and just in right time to ahead of the League Cup semi-final this Saturday with Hibs at Hampden. So big win for St Johnstone. It gives them a wee bit more breathing space at the bottom. Sort of the bottom 4 are starting to get clogged together a wee bit. Well, it won't take many results to bring the likes of Kilmarnock and St Mirren back into things. And we heard from Callum Davidson at the end of that one, who was obviously pleased with a big win despite his St Johnstone side not playing particularly well, whereas Jim Goodwin, fearing the worst for Jake Doyle. He is such an influential player for the Paisley Saints, and he could miss the League Cup semi-final against Livingston this weekend.
Football's a funny game because it's probably the worst we've played in virtually all the matches. I thought first half was a real kind of tight affair. I thought we probably I think Guy had probably the best chance of the first half. Probably should have put it away. A couple of good balls in the box, but apart from that, there wasn't a lot in the game. I asked the players a little bit more energy going into the second half when we got the early goal. And once we did that, they got the man sent off, and from then on I didn't think we were good enough, really. But I'm just delighted. I've been here enough, saying we've played really well, not getting from the game, so today I'm pleased that I thought they defended really well, put their bodies on the line, and never really allowed someone to get into our box, and I'm really pleased with that. So that's the pleasing aspect, and obviously the 3 points is so important. I think probably you know yourself here, won for a wee while. I think it's sometimes difficult to get over that line. I didn't think we were good enough on the ball when we won it back, and we allowed them to sort of get into certain areas, but again from that I thought we defended really well.
Yeah, Quainer, yeah. I mean, look, it hasn't been the referee's decisions obviously were really costly in the end. Overall, we didn't play as well as excuse me, what we would have liked. But the substitutions at the end were a bit shambolic because Colin has told the physio that he's okay to carry on, and then 15 seconds later, after we make the substitution, he comes off the park. So it leaves us short up front when you're chasing the game and going for a goal.
Muscle or something like that?
No, he opened his knee. It looks like maybe a little bit of medial ligament damage, but I don't think it's anything too severe and for us to worry about. We have got a slight concern over Jake Doyle-Hayes. Looks as if he's maybe pulled a muscle in his thigh, so that could be a 4 to 6 week job, which is a real blow for us because he's been a big player for us. But look, we're not going to be too downhearted. I mean, we've lost to a good side, always a difficult venue to come here. I think the goal is avoidable, there's no doubt defensively, but you rely on the referees to make those big decisions and to get them right. Unfortunately, on this occasion, that hasn't happened for us. But we've got a big week now to prepare for what's a huge game for the club, the semi-final at Hampden on Sunday. We won't allow ourselves to feel sorry for ourselves this week. We look forward to that, and hopefully we can go and give a better account of ourselves on Sunday.
And finally, for the weekend, Mull 1, Rangers 1. Devante Cole putting Mull ahead in this one before Cedric Itten replied for Rangers in the second half. Graham Alexander's men came out pressed high. Rangers didn't really know how to deal with it. Obviously, it was well documented last time when Mull played Rangers. the bus was parked, much to the criticism of pretty much everybody in the Mull camp in that one. But they came out and played much more attacking football, 3 forwards, caused Rangers lots of problems in the first half, but just ran out of gas in the second and eventually caved in. Albeit the goal did look offside. It has been a talking point sort of on social media and different platforms over the course of the last 24 hours since that result. But a point, Mull obviously were expected to just go into this game and get bowled over 3 or 4-0, it has to be said, and for them to come out with a point is a positive point, albeit Graham Alexander speaking at the end of the game, slightly frustrated it's not 3.
I'm proud of the team, proud of the players, I'm proud of everyone at the club really. I've said already that there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes this week. Ground staff, office staff, trying to create an environment for the players to feel together and, as a team, and I think we saw that today. I thought we were excellent in the first half. I thought we were comfortable. We had a goal threat. We scored a fantastic goal and deservedly won the up. The quality of Rangers are always going to put you on the back foot. Being 1-0 up as well, tendency to just try and protect. And I've seen it. I didn't see it at the time, but I've seen it after. It looks like an offside goal as well. That's got my point. So, a bit of frustration because I thought the boys, what they've put in, not just today but the whole week, deserved a little bit more. But it's a step forward for us, and it's another point on our tally. Yeah, 100%. Because you can only control your game and your positions. If someone's offside, then you're controlling that. You're holding a good line. So that's difficult. I didn't see it at the time. I'll be honest. It was only after the game when someone showed me the still and a bit of footage, and that hurts us a little bit. But overall, the players are frustrated, which is good. You can take a point from a team who's unbeaten this season and playing as well as we did, and they're still frustrated. That's a good sign.
And that's all we've got time for on our review of the weekend's action. We hope you have enjoyed. Do remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Keep an eye out for all the exclusive content coming out this week, plenty of it, ahead of the League Cup semi-finals as we build up to them. Obviously great for us on Not Low Firm to have 4 NTOF teams, if you will, in the semi-final stage. So plenty of action to bring you from events at Hampden over the weekend, as well as there's some Premiership action as well. Ross County travelling to Rangers, one of the games, and Mull on their travels as well to Aberdeen. So battles at sort of both ends of the parks, teams at the top end meeting teams at the lower end of the table. So interesting to see how that goes over the weekend. But that's all we've got time for on this. If I've not said it once, said it a million times. Do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and until next time.